And I'm the Chief Constable of Devon and Cornwall Police. My apologies for being unable to speak with the media before, as we have a very complex and fast-moving scene, and throughout the coming hours and days we will release more information for the public and for your information as well, so that we can explain to the members and of the media, but more importantly the people of Plymouth, what has happened in the preceding hours. An event like this touches all communities, all people, no matter where you are in the world, and the events that I will tell you are particularly traumatic. We would say for anyone who witnessed the events of last night or affected by them, to contact the Victim Support National Helpline on a number we will share with you, but for now is 0808 1689 111, and that's not just today but over the coming days. Last night police received multiple calls at 6:11 to an address in Biddick Drive. The number of calls were considerable and were assessed, and it was later revealed that shots were being fired. That, as I say, came in from multiple calls from the public. Officers arrived at the scene within 6 minutes, including both unarmed and armed officers. It is our understanding, and I confirm, that a man known as Jake Davison, aged 22, had murdered a woman at an address in Biddick Drive using a firearm. I will not reveal that address, as we are still contacting the members of the family of the lady who has died. We will reveal that address later in more detail for you. Mr. Davison then left that address, entered Biddick Drive, where he immediately shot and killed a very young girl. He also shot and killed the male relative of that girl. This was a truly shocking event and was witnessed by members of the public. Further along Biddick Drive, he aimed and shot at two local residents, a man and a woman, who've received significant, but we understand at present not life-threatening injuries. They are currently being treated at a local hospital and supported by specialist officers. Again, there are witnesses to this. From there, Mr. Davison entered adjacent parkland, where he immediately shot a man who died at the scene. And thereafter he moved to Henderson Place, where he shot a woman who, despite the best endeavours of first aiders at the scene, later died at Derriford Hospital. Eyewitnesses have told us that then Mr. Davison turned the gun upon himself, taking his own life. They have described that firearm as a pump-action shotgun. I can confirm that a firearm has been retrieved from that scene and will be forensically examined. We are not yet describing that as a pump-action firearm, but clearly, as I've said, multiple shots have been fired from a firearm during that 6-minute or so period. There are some 13 scenes and potentially more scenes. Overnight you will have heard that we evacuated members of the public. That evacuation is not in place. That was primarily to ensure that there were not other persons who have been shot, injured or killed in the neighbouring premises. As I repeat, there are therefore 5 people of Plymouth who have lost their lives overnight, and Mr. Davison himself, including a particularly young child. We are not at this time naming the details of those people, because not only are we working with the families, but each one of them has wider families throughout the United Kingdom. Many of those people have work colleagues as well within Plymouth, and we will want to ensure that those businesses, as far as possible, are supported. The community of Plymouth is strong, and throughout this morning we've had many meetings with community partners, and all of them have commented on the strength of the community, but the response of the blue light agencies overnight, particularly colleagues from the ambulance service and air ambulance and colleagues at Derriford Hospital, as well as the responding officers and the councillors of Plymouth City Council. The Police and Crime Commissioner and the Home Secretary were updated overnight, and the Police and Crime Commissioner is here in Plymouth again this morning. I would ask people not to contact policing within Devon and Cornwall unless it is truly now an emergency, as we are very, very busy, as I'm sure you will understand. In respect of this investigation, there is a Casualty Bureau number of 01752 487 880. I'll repeat that, which is 01752 487 880. If anyone has any information about the investigation, and I repeat, if people are traumatised, and they inevitably will be, then to contact that other number. Clearly, I will take some questions and answer as best I can. If I can't answer, I will explain why, and we will seek to answer those questions for you over the coming hours and days.
Sure, sorry. Do you know if the gunman had a licence for his weapon? And what was the motive for his attack? Do you have any idea about that yet?
We can confirm that Mr Davidson is a firearms licence holder. I'm unable to confirm whether that was the firearm that was used. Second question, sir, was, I apologise.
Do you have any idea what his motive was? He ruled out terrorism, but he was a member of an online group called Incel, for example.
So there is no motive, as we know at present. Again, that will be subject to inquiry, but we are at the moment not considering terrorism or a relationship with any far-right group or any such other group. But clearly he is on social media, and that will be part of the investigation. Mr Eve.
Can you say how long he's had that licence?
I can get that detail to you. Certainly he was a licence holder in 2020, but I will get out to you if it was held before that time as well.
Will there be a review of the decision-making process that granted him a licence?
So as part of an investigation in this or any shooting, we will look at where a licence holder was licensed by Devon and Cornwall Police. Of course we will. That will be an independent review, and we're making contact with the Independent Office of Police Complaints whether they wish to do that or whether it's conducted by another force, and we'll confirm that later.
Was he receiving three?
Take this one here and I'll come to you, Mr Brunt. Yes. So the question was he retrieving treatment for mental health issues? Again, we will receive out. Clearly, this is an extraordinarily unusual response by a fellow human being. Whether there were mental health issues, I cannot say at this time, but we will be informing yourself. We'll also be working with the coroner, who will ask us to explore those avenues of inquiry. Mr Brunt.
Can you tell us anything, Chief Constable, of how he was moving around? Did any witness report him saying anything to anybody?
At the moment, I have nothing in terms of him saying anything. Clearly, he's pointed a firearm. Whether anything was said, I will find out from those people. But I think most people at the moment were just shocked at what was unfolding before them. So we do have specialist officers with all the witnesses, and clearly if there's any video footage, we would ask for that to be passed to us in the fullness of time. But at the moment, I'm not aware of any conversation.
Did any of your officers fire shots?
No, he had taken his life before firearms officers were able to engage him.
Can you say if Mr Davidson's family had been in touch with
So I can't confirm that at the moment. I am aware that there is communication in social media that they may have been. Again, as I say, it's not to hide anything from you, but if we get that, we'll be able to tell you that in the fullness of time.
Can you say what he was wearing during this run?
I'm afraid I can't, sir. No.
Previous convictions?
I'm not able to reveal that at that time, but again, we will be putting that over the coming hours and days. I really want to focus on the incident, but again, we will get that to you if that's appropriate. We'll be guided by the coroner, of course, on what we can tell you.
Why was there...
Again, I referred to, I won't confirm where members who've lost their lives worked or where perhaps they were at school, because we need to work with those companies.
Why was there such a big window before residents were told that the emergency was over?
Primarily because we were searching to see whether this was a lone individual, whether there were other individuals. You'll be aware this was a very fast developing scene. Was this a lone agent? Clearly you've seen other issues. We weren't clear whether it was a terrorist incident. We therefore would want to keep the public safe until we were totally sure and able to give them that assurance.
And how long exactly was that?
It was several hours.
Mr Sawyer, a number of people lost their lives in a very short space of time. How confident are you in the actions of your officers in getting to the scene quickly enough and trying to prevent any further deaths?
As confident as I can be right now. Response time of 6 minutes on a warm summer's evening from the time of call, I would believe is very, very quick. It is very clear. I'll be with you in one moment. I'll be very clear at the moment. I'm extraordinarily proud of my officers and their response. But if something comes later that we could have done more with it, of course. But I think 6 minutes is a pretty good response.
Mr. Bernard's wives now being treated as terrorists and possible. They have very radical views. That was a member of the firm. Why was that disregarded so much?
It's not disregarded. It's something we're not focusing on now. So the question was, have we disregarded terrorism? We're an open mind, but really that is not the focus at the moment, due to the information we have, which I'm not able to reveal now. Clearly, if that changes, we're in liaison with Scotland Yard and the Counter-Terrorism Command. They're aware of all the information and they will guide us on that. 3 more questions, sir, and then sir. 1 second, I'll be with you. Take the gentleman in blue. Sorry.
Sorry, you said your officer's line was 6 minutes. What was the length of the accident?
Sir, I'm so sorry, there's traffic.
Do you know the length of the accident when sort of began to when it has reached a conclusion?
So we've got roughly, and it is roughly, a matter of minutes between the taking of the life of the lady at the address and the gentleman taking his own life. We are talking minutes, but in those minutes, 5 other people lost their lives. Sorry, this gentleman here, I really am trying to help you as much as I can, bear with me.
He's described himself on social media as autistic. Is that a diagnosis you yourselves or other agencies were aware of?
Again, more details about Mr. Davison will come out. I know all of you work in social media, so are we, but I will only confirm to the facts as I understand them.
How many people were in the address?
I'm going to go 1, 2, then there, and I'll be back. Yes.
Was he known to police at all, and was he carrying more than one firearm?
He was known to police because he was a licensed firearms holder. I know the question about criminal records being asked. I will come back on that on more detail. Obviously, Mr. Davison had some 22 years, so whether we had encounter with him earlier in his life, that's the sort of thing we're researching on. Second question.
Was he carrying more than one firearm?
We've only recovered 1 firearm at this time.
So are you able to tell us how long it took for armed officers to arrive?
Armed officers were arriving at roughly the same time. Plymouth has a number of armed response units, as you know. It's a major city, it's also a naval city. So we'll get the details out to you, Ben, as soon as we can. But in essence, if one looks at all the terrorist incidents we've seen, any kind of police response of 6 minutes is a phenomenal response. Only the coroner will tell us whether we could have done more. But at the moment, I think that kind of call to response in any city is extremely, extremely responsive. But the firearms officers, this is a major city, that's a quick response in my view. I'll be guided by others if they think it could have been quicker.
What was his relationship to the women, and how many people were in the address?
We're aware, as I said, I wouldn't touch on the relationship. There is a familial relationship as we understand it, but we're looking to confirm that. That's the first lady I assume you're referring to in the premises. We're looking to see whether that's a familial relationship, but certainly the individuals were known to each other. In terms of the other individuals, we don't yet know whether they were known to each other.
There's some speculation that it's his mother in the address, is that correct?
Say again, murder at the address?
Yeah, was it his mother?
No, I'm not going to confirm any familial relationship at this time. My apologies, I thought you said murder.
You weren't able to hear.
We do know. Right, sorry. So, let me confirm that we believe the lady at the first address was known to him, and there is a view that there is a familial relationship which your colleague asked. I'm not going to confirm or deny that other than they knew each other. In terms of the other people who tragically lost their lives, whether he knew them by acquaintance, we do not know of any formal relationship between them.
He lived on that street himself?
He knew people on that street. Whether he had more than one address, we're waiting to find out. I'm going to do 2 more and then I must finish. Yes.
I just want to check, going back to the terror relations, and whether that's an issue or not. I believe in what you're saying initially it was declared not to be a terror-related incident. Now you're saying that might not be the focus, but you can't discount that.
Yeah.
Does that mean there was a miscommunication initially, or has something changed to change the stance?
No, nothing's changed. I think in policing, I've been around long enough to know you keep an open mind and go on the facts, which is what I've waited for. I could speak to as long as I could. So at the moment, is terrorism a potential? Let's see what's on his hard drive. Let's see what's on Mr. Davison's computer. Let's see what's on social media. But right now we have nothing to say that is the case. We believe we have an incident that is domestically related, that has spilled into the street and seen several people within Plymouth losing their lives in an extraordinarily tragic circumstance.
Sorry, the address where the first shooting happened, is that the shooter's home address? Is that where the gun was registered?
I won't be able to confirm or deny whether that's his address at this time. We will confirm whether he had more than one address. But the person at that address, we understand, was known to him.
And was the gun registered to that address?
Again, I'm not going to do that, not because I want to make sure we get all the facts to you as to where the gun was registered, because I don't know yet whether that was the gun that was used. It goes back to the earlier point. I'll give you it fact by fact as we go along, so as not to mislead you or confuse the public.
Are there any other addresses being searched that aren't
We have 13 different scenes.
proximity to where it took place?
My apologies. So those were searched overnight to make sure that we had no other victims or other persons who may be harmed. As we discover more about Mr. Davison's life, we may find other addresses that we might wish to search, but at the moment we have no other addresses we're seeking to search.
How many were searched overnight?
I will come back to you because there will be multiple addresses in Biddick.
Are you able to confirm where the injuries were sustained on any of the victims?
I'm probably not going to answer that for issues of trauma, issues of courtesy to the public, respect, and I think understand the question, but that's not somewhere I would go. I'm going to close with one more.
Are you able to say, beyond those people who lost their lives, how many others were injured and what sort of condition were they in?
There were 2 people injured. So those were the 2 people that Mr. Davison confronted in Biddick Drive, aimed and shot at them. They're local residents. They both received significant injuries. And we have to be careful with this term, not life-threatening, because if someone looks at you, shoots at you, and you're shot, it's life-changing. And it is life-changing for all the people who have witnessed those events overnight. And it will be something that will show the resilience of the people of Plymouth, and particularly the community of Keyham, over the coming days and weeks. And all I would ask is that you will, as you have done this morning, show them the respect in how we treat their lives as they come to terms with this. Thank you so very much.